This weekend cruising, you got to pay to know where you're sleeping. You got to leave those wagons at home. And a little history just sold for almost a whopping $1 million. I'm David, and this is the Cruise Brief. Let's go. Have you ever gotten a terrible cabin assignment? So the thing is, on cruise ships, you can get a guaranteed cabin. Basically what that means is you book a cabin, it's guaranteed you're going to get it, and you can pick like the categories you want, right? And it's going to be there, but you're not going to know which room that is. You're not going to know the exact room number, okay? So a lot of people do this because it saves a little bit of money. I've done it before in the past as well. The thing is, people get a little bit antsy the closer it gets to cruise time when they don't know their cabin number. So Royal Caribbean said, hold on, we'll fix that. How about we tell you your cabin number when you pay off the cruise? But we want to charge you another $30. Now, a good part about this is you're going to find out your cabin assignment number. And if it's in a bad spot, you do have the chance to go in and say, hey, can I move that cabin? And if it's there and available, maybe they can move you and there'll be no extra charge. Now, it's got to be in a certain category. It cannot be, it's got to be specific type of cruises. It cannot be a casino offer or anything like that. It's only available on US bookings. And here's the deal. If it's a 6+ night cruise, you can get your cabin assignment number 50 to 80 days out, okay? If it is a 5 night or fewer, you can get your cabin number in about 30 to 50 days, somewhere around those ranges. Some people would do this. I'm thinking maybe I would do this because I like to get on the internet. I like to find out which room I'm in. I like to scour YouTube and look at the cruise deck plans and see if anybody's made a video of that specific cabin that I'm going to be in, because I like to scope it out. Now, especially if you got kids and you want to get them excited about the cruise, you scope it out, you play the videos, the kids come and look, this is where we're staying, this is the ship we're on, this is where we're going to be. You know, it's a little bit of hype you can build up, right? I get hyped over it. I like to jump in there and take a look, and then I like to show my sweetie pie and say, hey baby, this is the cabin we're staying in. That's right, this is the cabin. Now, I do that. I don't know if you do it or not, but I just want to know. It just kind of gets to me. Now, like I said, I've done this before. I've booked a guaranteed cabin, and I've tried to be patient, man, and I was patient. I didn't find out my room until later. On top of that, they started putting out upgrades, right? I had a guaranteed, and it was going to be an obstructed view. The closer we got to our cruise, the more antsy I got. And I was like, okay, I didn't pay a whole lot for this cruise. I got a really great deal on it. And I'm like, okay, I really didn't pay a whole lot for this. Let me make a bid or two to see if I can get an upgraded cabin. And I did. I tried it and I got the bid that I wanted. I still didn't find out my cabin number though until like the day or two before. So I didn't get a chance to go on and look and see if I could find my exact cabin until a couple nights before. And hey, you know what? I did find the cabin, found it a couple days before we got on ship, and I was happy. So what about you? Would you do this? Now, we got to keep in mind, this $30, from what I understand, it is non-refundable. Even if you cancel the trip, you're not getting the $30 back. So it's like a $30 gamble, if you will. But I think I would take that gamble. Would you do it? Have you ever booked a guaranteed cabin? Where was it? What ship was it on? Did it make or break your cruise? Tell us about it. Let me know how it worked out for you. So what is your beach day packing strategy? Do you have one? You know, when we used to do trips with the family, we would go down to the beach, and I always would try to pick a condo or somewhere we could stay. Like we would go to Destin all the time, and I would pick a condo that's on the beach, right? I don't know, you can call me bougie or whatever, but I'm like, look, dude, I don't want to be off the beach where I got to carry everything down to the beach every day, because I'm the pack mule in the family. That means I'm the one that's getting up early. I'm going to carry stuff down to the beach. Now, my wife, she's busy taking care of other things, but my job, get stuff down to the beach. Okay, so I would say, look, we're booking on the beach. Twofold, we love to sit out on the balcony at night and listen to the ocean. Another reason we love cruising is we love to get out on the balcony and listen to the ocean, especially as you're just cutting through the waves. Man, there's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it. I don't know how to explain it to you, but if you've been there, you already know. But look, that was what we do, and I wouldn't do anything other than I'd grab a backpack, I'd grab coolers, I would grab chairs or umbrellas or whatever. And I would just carry everything I could, just put it, as much as I can. But I saw a lot of people who would take wagons. Man, they would load up that wagon, they would carry it down to the beach. Now I had older kids about the time when we really started getting into the beach, so I could say, bring your own stuff. If you want this, bring it yourself. I'm not going to do it. But if you got little ones, they really, honestly can't do that themselves. You're going to have to do it for them. But did you hear that key word there? I said, a wagon. Carnival Cruise Lines has quietly put the wagon on the ban list. We're not going to let you carry that wagon on our private islands. You can still bring it with you. You can bring it with you on the ship. But here's the deal. It's got to be collapsible, and you got to be able to carry it on during embarkation and carry it off during debarkation. We don't want that thing rolling around all over the ship. We don't want it rolling through the hallways. We don't want it rolling around the pool deck. We don't want it on our private islands. And hey, when I say they did this quietly, they did it quietly. There was no press release. We are telling you not to bring on a wagon. No, they didn't do that at all. That's not how they roll. They ban things. And then when you try to show up with them, hey, that's banned. You can't get on there. Or they put it quietly in some notes somewhere that you need to read. And now you need somebody watching your back to help you figure these things out, because there's all kinds of things now that are banned, like the Bluetooth speakers. You can't be using those either. And don't be putting your towels and your wet clothes out on the balcony. Can't do that either. We ban that. We will ban you for things like that. So, not going to do that. Look, they don't want you taking these on their private islands. That's any private island that Carnival owns or Carnival Corporation has. They don't want you doing that. That means Princess Keys, or that means Celebration Key. They don't want you doing it. So don't bring it. Just don't do it. Now, are you that person who has to have that wagon? Now, when you go to the beach, I kind of understand it. Especially if you've got little kids, you want to bring along everything. What is it that you bring? What do you put in your wagon? Do you tackle everything and just grab it up and throw it in the wagon? Or do you have specific items that you just put in that wagon that you know you're going to use? Probably the second. You're going to put the things that you know you needed. Look, we all do that. I take a waterproof backpack with me when we go, and I put in things like cameras and stuff like that needs to be protected from water, just in case something happens. My wife will usually carry some sort of beach bag like that, but it's just the two of us, right? And that's really all we need. Some folks, hey, you're lucky they got shorts on. Look, dude, I just got my shorts on. I'll put on a shirt just because they asked me to, but it's going to be, something loose. And I need my sunglasses, probably a hat, my flip-flops. And I'm golden, man. I'm good. There's a lot of people like that. Nothing wrong with that either. Nothing wrong with that either. A beach day is a beach day. Just go enjoy it however you want, right? So let me know, what do you haul to the beach? Now, this next subject is a subject I don't even know if I should really even be talking about on a cruise show, because it's the Titanic. And I don't know, man. I kind of get a little weirded out thinking about talking about the Titanic on a cruise show. But for some people, the Titanic does kind of play into that love affair of cruising. They reminisce about, how people were dressed up on the Titanic and how it was just such a luxury to be able to be on that ship. But we all know that it ended in a tragedy. So 114 years later, there's artifacts. There's things that are being auctioned off. And back in 2024, there was a watch that was auctioned off. I think it brought in like 1.9. I think it was $1.97 million. I don't know, $1.9 million. Okay, that's what it brought. So that's a lot of moolah. Anyhow, there now is a life jacket. It's the first life jacket that's ever been sold that was on the Titanic. It was won by Laura Francatelli. She was a secretary. She was in first class. She worked for a famous dressmaker. She was rescued on Lifeboat 1, along with, I think, 11 other passengers. I think there were 12 passengers in all in that lifeboat. This life jacket was signed by 8 survivors. It stayed in the family for decades, and it has actually traveled around the UK and it's been in museums. So you may have even seen this life jacket before. Now, the same auction house that auctioned off that watch that brought 1.9 million sold this item. I think it was expected to go for somewhere in the 300s all the way up to the 400s, but this thing brought $905,000. $905,000 for a life jacket off of the Titanic. Now, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about buying an artifact that came from the Titanic. I guess in this case, it came from a survivor, so maybe that would be okay. But I still kind of get a little weirded out. I get weirded out going to those Titanic exhibits. I don't know. I just don't really like it. It was such a tragedy in our history that I think that, wow, I get a little weirded out. I guess maybe to carry on for the survivors who did survive that, man, the stories they must have told and must have had. Anyway, would you purchase something like that? Would you think about, now, I mean, let's not talk about the cost, but would you buy an artifact that came off of the Titanic? Have you ever been to a Titanic exhibit? That's it for this episode of the Cruise Brief. Drop a comment below if you have ever booked a guaranteed cabin and let me know, did it work out for you? And would you pay the 30 bucks to make sure you knew which room you were going to get? I would. I definitely would. I'd pay the $30. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. And if you know someone who loves cruising, go ahead and send them this episode as well. Also, if you or anyone else you know is looking to book a cruise or thinking about booking a cruise, I would love to help you in that area. I am David. This is the Cruise Brief. Stay safe out there. Go out and live that life that you have been blessed with.